And welcome back to Marriage or Hell No. Happy 4th of July out there, fellas. But on this 4th of July morning, I decided to bring you guys a little bit of fireworks. Let's just say he found his wife busting that thing open for somebody else. Without further ado, let's get into today's story time. Shout out to all my day one subscribers and everybody that's been tuned into the channel, liking the videos, staying engaged. I really appreciate all the love. The title of this post is called Divorcing My Wife After Walking In on Her Sleeping with Another Man. 5-year relationship, 2-year marriage. Should be interesting. Let's get it. He starts off, this is still fairly fresh, nearly 6 weeks ago. Everything started about 10 months ago after I found out she was talking a lot of negative things behind my back to another guy. They started hanging out together a lot, and she would go to the bar with her and her coworkers and never let me come. I wanted to go to therapy, and she agreed. Things went further when I found out she was SEXting this guy and showing pictures of her Tiggo biddies. I had a panic attack. She then broke off the friendship, and the guy blocked her and cut off all ties with her and anyone she knew. Month goes by and we decide to go to Ireland for our honeymoon. That's a fantastic country to visit. Fellas, if you've never been, I would suggest you visit. We were so excited to finally go after 2 years of planning. I came to find out after her not having her period in 6 weeks, turns out she's pregnant. Jesus. Woo. We found out while we were there. She had a panic attack, stating that her new job might discriminate against her. Makes no sense, especially for an HR specialist. I went with it and agreed. For her sake, she wanted a smishmortion. Figures, right? This was also just going over the possible affair my wife had, and we are not in the greatest of emotional places. Now, rolling up to May, her cousin was having a graduation party, and we were planning to be at it for months. It's out of state and about an 18-hour drive. Life decided to take my grandfather away 1 week before the graduation, and I couldn't go. I'm sorry to hear about that. I really wanted her to be there for me, but she doesn't want to. We ended up getting into a huge fight about it and agreed to take a break. I went to go live at my parents' house. 2 days later, I call her to make boundaries. So he thought. I proposed no destruction of property, no cheating, no shit posting on social media. She agreed to all of it and even said, I love you at the end. There's no way in hell she loves you if she would put you through all of this crap. 1 week goes by and I haven't heard anything. It was May 14th, our second anniversary. Not making that up. I go back to the house to give her her favorite flowers as a nice surprise. Why the hell would you be doing that? But I get it. She wasn't there and the house was cleaner than usual. She doesn't clean unless company comes around. I left the flowers and went to go hang out with some friends. I had a gut-wrenching feeling something was wrong. I texted her later that night asking how she was doing, and I still want to make everything work. No response. You see how this guy's just going along with this program, setting himself up for this long-term failure. But also notice how she did not respond to anything he had to say. You want to know why? I went to the house after trying to call her and ended up seeing something that graped my eyes. Basically, she was over there laying face down, busting it open for another guy. I went insane and possibly decked the guy in the face a few times, throwing my ring at her and left. Jesus, what a debacle. I'm her second husband. I never mistreated her and loved her with everything I had. Though I'm not perfect, I really tried in our relationship. Seeing that was the worst experience in my life, I want to one day see it as a pivot to go back to work on myself. I want to heal, love myself, and move on, but correctly, patiently, and with no regrets. To you, I want to ask you this. What did you do or are doing to love yourself? Was there an experience or set of experiences that helped you get back on your feet? Edit. Thank you to everyone for so much support. Most of the advice, including working out, therapy, hobbies, friends, and work, are all areas of focus I have in my life already. But seeing it has worked for so many others motivates me to keep at it. A few facts later on. One, I'm not separated from my soon to be ex wife. Attorneys are discussing over the house, but that is the only asset. Two, living with relatives have been since D Day 6 weeks ago. Three, got a new apartment and one I actually like. Isn't that a blessing in 2022? But won't be moving in for another month. Now, I'm going to say congratulations right here to this man because he's really taking that first step to be able to clear his mind and having some freedom and peace to be able to articulate his thoughts properly without all the other distractions. I'm taking the advice to remind myself to keep strong in these times. Happiness and strength is more of a momentum to keep going further than a destination. I hope some of you see it that way. Thank you all. Now, fellas, before I make my closing remarks, I'm going to showcase some comments because you know it's always about what people got to say in these comments, especially when they're keeping it all the way real. Now, the first man chimes in and he goes, she probably wanted in smortion because she didn't want to know who the father was. I'm sorry. Start seeing her for who she is, a serial cheater that was never meant to be your forever person. Get an STD test, done. Look into hobbies, rekindle friendships, talk to people about your situation. Do not isolate yourself. 170 upvotes on that. And the part I really want to be able to chime in on here is the hobbies aspect of it. A lot of times when we go through things in life, whether it's breakup or divorce in this case, we need things to keep our mind going. Some people try to go to the gym. Some people put themselves more into a work mode. But I would argue that the hobbies are really important. I'll give you an example. Kevin Durant is not my favorite person right now, being a Brooklyn Nets fan. And you can imagine the heartache that I'm going through. And there was this particular documentary that Kevin Durant one time was talking about how he clears his mind. And he talked about his hobby of cycling, how it allows him to get on the road and he just got to pedal and just keep going forward. He can't be distracted by anything because he might get hit by a car or, he'll lose, his balance on the particular bike. So my point is that if it's something like cycling, if it's something like working on a craft, learning a new skill, it allows you to not focus so much on all of those distractions and keeps you locked in to going forward. They'll help you reestablish your confidence. Now, another brother chimes in and he goes, the first thing I would do is ghost her and hire a very strong lawyer. Truth is, you picked a lemon. It sucks, but it's no reflection on you. Maybe the lesson is not to be so accommodating to someone acting like a jerk. In hindsight, and it's easy for me to say I know, but you should have probably dumped her when she was SEXing with her friend. The key to not being cheated on is to be ruthless when it comes to red flags. Someone does anything fishy, move on. Gentlemen, that might be one of the best comments that I think I've ever read in any particular story time. And the reason why I say that is because I always talk about no reconciliation, is because it's tied directly to your commitment. Remember, they control access to spicy time. We control relationships. So anytime you see a red flag, you can pull your commitment, and that's what keeps them in line. But when you allow them to walk all over you, you're going to find yourself in situations just like this. That's really it, though. Look at it like you got involved with a fraud. It happens. It was a relatively short period in your life. Though it may not feel like it, you will be fine. There are still good people out there, and you just have to find one. This too will pass. Original poster. 36 upvotes on that. That's a champion comment right there, I will say. In closing, fellas, this is the reason why I do these particular story times, to show you that men see all the red flags in their relationships, but sometimes it can be due to having a scarcity mindset. It can be due to possibly trying to save a marriage that you know is not going anywhere. But a lot of times men see these red flags and they don't want to act on it. But then all of a sudden, a situation like this happens later on down the line, and we're freaking out. And I'm not saying that to bash any men that have gone through this. I think most men have gone through this at some point of dealing with a cheater. But you have to be ruthless in saying, I will not tolerate this. You're not ever going to reward bad behavior. Until next time, fellas, choose wisely. I'm out. Peace.